just wanted to pop on and show you a couple of things that I got from Denise's shop, A Tattered Dream, in case you might like to have a look and see what she stocks in her beautiful shop on Etsy. She has some divine papers and ribbons and lovely bags, and these are printed bags which make great journal bags with lovely old advertising on them. Absolutely gorgeous. So I've got a collection of those. I'll be very busy. And beautiful bag with a lovely lace doily on the top. All of that. I have this lovely little collection of beautiful ribbons, hand-torn ribbons, and they're so delicate and so pretty, so very soft. I got one in blue and one in pink for some journals that I'm doing at the moment, so you'll see those appearing in later books, I'm sure. And some cute little packets. These are dear little bags that you can decorate up to put inside your journal's pocket pages, or just pop them in and stitch them in. They're very cute, and I just love these. I really wanted to get some of these. We don't have these easily available here, so Denise's shop's a lifesaver for such things, but they're the most delicate little glassine envelopes you've ever seen. They're so beautifully done. Neat little edges with a little easy spot there to put. So you could decorate these up quite pretty, and I will show you some that I've done when I've got around to doing that. And also some beautiful pages from Edith Holden. Gorgeous pages, absolutely love those. The horses are beautiful and the birds are lovely. And the Pussy Willow is gorgeous. We have Pussy Willow here, so that's beautiful. And this lovely one with the butterfly and the bee. And some gorgeous elderberries, so they'll come in very useful. And the thing I must tell you before I forget to with the Tattered Dream is Denise is very good with the postage, because Etsy tend to keep adding on the postage, so by the time you get to the end of it you've got a huge amount of postage which seems so disproportionate to what you actually have. But Denise is aware of that, and as soon as it goes through she refunds the postage back to you, so it's not as drastic as what you might think it is at first. It will come back. Hello again. I thought I would continue on with the goodies I got from A Tattered Dream and just show you a little bit of what I was planning to do with those bits and pieces, and show you how I plan to use them in my journals, as I started working on a couple of new journals, and I thought maybe we could just do a few pages and you could see where I plan to use these bits and pieces. So the first thing I have was these lovely paper bags. These two. So I thought we might do something with those ready to go into my journals. And the first thing I had planned was to make some little tuck spots, and this is one that I've been playing with, and it just goes onto the corner of the page and you tuck things in behind it. So that was one thing I had planned to do, and I have done a smaller version for the little paper bag, which is this one here. So to make those is just a matter of layering up. So first of all you cut some pieces of cardstock, which can be any shape from a simple tag that you just cut by freehand to some fancier shapes that you might have with your own dies. You can cut circles or hearts or anything at all really. So all I do is just tear the top layer off, and you can tear it off in a whole or you can tear it off in a patchy arrangement like I have done here. And the next thing you do is to just paint them with a little bit of, I just use some gesso, just roughly with the brush, and then you just layer them up with some pictures, like some little pictures I have cut out here, which these ones are from a sheet which I've had for a long time from Designs Galore. So that's way back in 2004. I should be using that somewhere, so I fetched that out. So you just find yourself some nice little pictures, and then I had some writing paper, some paper that's got words or writing on it, and so I decided to use this piece, which is from, who is it from? Prima Marketing, this one, and it had some lovely old-fashioned writing on it. But if you have your own French collection of letters or something that you'd like to use, you can actually tear those. So you just go about finding the bits that you want and really just creating a bit of a collage that you like the look of yourself, and that can be as large or as small as you want it to be. So you would just go over your area that you have whited out, if you decide to do that. You can always add a little bit of white to the edges later if you like that sort of look. I usually go around my edges with the Distress ink because I like that look, but you know, if you don't, well, you don't have to do that. But I find that helps to make it look that little bit sort of aged, which is the design of these type of journals. They have a vintage kind of look about them. So from there I would just layer it up there. I shall just cut, I'm sorry if I'm not in, I'll try to stay in camera here, actually make sure I'm in the right spot. So you can either go over the top of your writing piece, or you can actually put the writing over the top, whatever suits your taste, and depending on how many layers you want to actually add to that. With this one you can see I've added some angel wings, a couple of little fussy cut flowers and leaves, a button, and some flowers down the side, but that's quite a large piece of cardstock, so it's got the room for quite a bit. This one here is a little bit smaller, and I just added some old-fashioned lace to the bottom of that, a butterfly and a little button which I have pulled through some waxed thread, and I just put a fancy little paper clip on the top. I've made a bit of a layout here of where I thought I might like to have my tuck spot, and a couple of little bits and pieces that I've pulled out of my basket there, so I'll just go about gluing those down. So for this little piece at the top, this pretty piece of lace I have, I'll just put that down with a bit of Fabri-Tac here. With that I was going to add a little piece of, there we go, a little bit of cheesy cloth. There's plenty of glue on there, so it shouldn't need a lot to hold it down. It's very thick at the moment, that glue. And this beautiful lady, I think I'd like to have her on that corner. So I'll pop her down. Just little bit of glue around the edge of, sorry, I forget I'm off camera for those messy bits. So I'll pop that back over there, and we'll just pop that on the corner there. And you can always fluff up your bit of cheesecloth when it's dried a little bit more, so it's not so much of an issue. Now that piece there, I'm just going to glue that on the corner there so it will be a pocket. So we'll just come down around the edges, put plenty of glue on the corner, but leave the middle open so you've got a nice corner pocket. So pop that on there, like that. And then I think what I might do is add a really old-fashioned button to that, but what I'll do is probably I might sew it a little bit onto the lace so it hangs on a bit better, because it's got a little bit of a shank on it. So when that goes into the journal, just be careful you don't actually stick your paper bag right down, because that would be a bit of a problem if you want it open. So I'll just pop that one over there to dry a little bit and work on this little one. So I've gessoed a little bit of white around the edges, just helps to give it that really antique-y old-fashioned look. Sorry about the shadows. Yeah. So I've got my layer sort of worked out of what I wanted to put on there, and I was going to put the cheesecloth on first. So back to the messy Fabri-Tac again, fabric glue, and I'll just run a little bit, just sort of around the middle there. I don't really want a lot on. You don't need a lot to hold cheesecloth on. It just sort of hangs, grips on in a few little spots. And then I've got my paper with the writing on that we picked out. So I'll just put that in the middle there. And then I have this nice little bit of calico there, which I've just frayed the edges just a tiny bit. So just a little strip of that, and that helps too if you've got something you want to hang off, like a pin or something, that you've got something for it to pin to. So it's always handy to have something like that you can actually, pull off the edge or somewhere where you'd like to add a pin to it. So then we've got our pretty little girl. She's a sweetie with her little pink flowers, and we'll pop her on the top of that, and to that. I think I'd like to add a little button, so I thought she's a sweet little girl, a little flowery button would look quite cute. Normally with the buttons, the Fabri-Tac does hold them quite well, but I usually use a stronger glue for heavier things, but this will be fine for this little one's only light. So I'll pop that on there. Okay, then she's ready to go onto her paper bag, which I had here, and I was going to put her on that postcard, wasn't I? So I'll pop her on to the postcard first. Let's see where she might look the best. I think probably also sort of down the bottom, and then that leaves you room if you want to write something or put some words on the top of the little bag. Okay, so that goes nicely onto that little paper bag there. There, doesn't she look sweet? pretty little girl. So that will go on the front of that little journal. Okay, so continuing on with our paper bag ideas. This one I finished up as a cover to go on the front of a journal, so I added the little girl on the front and attached her to a postcard. So that one was ready to go. Then with the large paper bag I have added a corner pocket, and it's the tag from Attic Lane's tags, and I put the button on the pin so it just hung off the edge of the picture there, so it actually looks like it's hanging off the lady. So that's what I did with that. It's a paper bag to go into a journal, that one. And then this little one we did with the corrugated cardboard and just coloured it up and add the picture, the butterfly and the lace trim. Now I'm just rerunning over this because even though this was supposed to be a craft with me, I had so many technical difficulties. I had to cut a lot out of the last video I did. So I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself. I'm just sort of bringing you up to where I left off. So to continue on where I left off last time before the video went berserk on me, we were decorating paper bags, and so that's as far as we've got with those. So the next thing I had from my Tattered Dream collection was this lovely pile of envelopes, which are the real deal. Nice and crinkly and lovely and noisy. So I thought I might do something a bit different on these to go inside of the journal, and what I had in mind was I had some fun with some plants the other day, doing some lovely spraying of wildflowers and lavender, and these are pussy tails there that you can, I'll just grab one so you can have a look at what a pussy tail looks like. So these are pussy tails, and what I did was just lay them onto the paper and sprayed the different colours over them, and that lovely idea came from Deb at Attic Lane, who has a wonderful tutorial on how to do that. So if you want to have a play with that, you can have a look at her tutorial. So these are the kind of things that I came up with my pussy tails and pieces of lavender and wild grasses, and I really like them. I think they're great. So I went on and did a few tags. Now I made these from the reverse, which Deb shows you in that video, and you pick up your flowers or weeds or whatever you've used and you lay them onto some blank. So your cards, once you have done almost the reverse of that, come out looking something like these. And I thought they'd be really lovely to put onto the glassine envelopes, which are really lovely little envelopes, but they'd look so pretty in a journal with a tag actually on them. So that was my plan for the glassine envelopes. I would decorate up with some of these tags. Okay, so I've just been and sewed the ribbon, which is this one here, and just made some little ruffles down the pages, so that came up really pretty with that very pretty little lace from a Tattered Dream. It came up very well, so that will go into a journal and look very pretty. And the next thing that I had done while I was sewing is add the stitching to the other pieces that I had lined up, which was the Edith Holden page that I had lined up to go in, and I just made a couple of pockets with that. So we've got a pocket at the top and a pocket at the side, and I added just a pretty little stamp to the corner with a butterfly, so that will become a page. That's an envelope redone, and the little tag that I had made from Attic Lane, I just popped on one of Denise's pretty little envelopes, and that will go into one of these pockets. So I just added some washi tape with a pretty little saying on it, and that sort of just lifted the little grasses, wild grasses. So that will go into there, and they're ready to go into the journal now that I'm working on. The next thing that I had planned to do was some gypsies, which I've got from Mrs. Cogg's Crafts, because I'm actually working on a gypsy journal at the moment, and I was going to decorate up some of these sweet little bags from Denise's shop, and I was planning on using some of the lovely Mrs. Cogg's gypsy collection, and they are really pretty too. There's lots to choose from in her little collection. So that's just called the Gypsies if you're looking for it. So they will all be going into a gypsy journal shortly. So the next thing I am going to do is to decorate one of these pages to go in. This one I had planned to do with another tag that I had. I was looking at using these as a journal cover, so putting something on for decoration that, you know, would be nice on a cover, so it can actually have a bit of dimension. It's not going to be squashed between the pages. So this little tag I made following an Attic Lane tutorial with Deb, with the butterflies and rolling up the tag. So if you want to learn how to actually make this tag, pop over to Attic Lane, and there's a lovely tutorial on how to do that. But it was so pretty, I thought it needs to be on the front where you can actually see it. So I thought adding it to one of these paper bags means that you've actually got a little pocket on the front that you can put things in as well. So I just thought that I'd glue that one down onto there and make that for a cover. And I also thought I might, with the gypsies was my plan. I'll just move that over there for a moment. I had planned to add some of Mrs. Cogg's Gypsy Ladies to these paper bags, which I did show you earlier. And in case the video didn't work, there they are again, the gypsies. And I've cut out a couple of pretty gypsies, and I've just backed them on some card and gone around them with some ink so that they don't have those white edges. So what I thought I might do now is continue on with that thought, and I've actually cut out a piece of cheesecloth or muslin, depending on where you come from. It's called different things, and this is a double piece, so you'll probably even cut it in half. So because the journal that I am working on has a lot of pink in it, I've got a pink tinted piece there, so I'll just cut that, cut that in half so we don't use more than we need. It's actually quite a pretty pink, this, just soft, not too heavy. So we've got a lovely piece of pink cheesecloth which you can use for your background, and then I thought I'd add that lovely lady. She's very pretty in her dancing gear there, and I think what I might do is cut a little piece of lace, daisy lace, and cut one of those out to put on as decoration. So we'll go ahead and glue that while we're on the subject. So with the muslin, cheesecloth, whatever you like to call it. I tend to just glue onto the bag and place it roughly over it because it's such a difficult thing to move around, and then just glue your little picture on afterwards. Stick that down. So I think I'll put her around about there, and that means that you can later on add some words down the bottom if you like, or different bits and pieces, because you find when you actually get to that stage you might want to add something else. I can't really tell which is the front and which is the back of that. I don't suppose it makes a lot of difference. Maybe that's the brighter side. Go with that one. They're pretty whichever side you go with. So I've just put a little dab of glue on there. Put that on the corner. So that's quite pretty like that, but we could even find, I might find some words to actually put on there. I've got some here. Let's have a look and see if there's anything suitable. These are actually from Mrs. Crog's Crafts phrases. Oh, that's nice. I just want to make beautiful things even if no one cares. I think that would look quite nice on there, so I might cut that one out and use that. So just trim away here. Sorry, oh, I'm out of camera, I'm sorry. I'll just cut that out, and that will make a really pretty little addition to the paper bag. And then you might have an idea that you want to put the name of the journal or something on that. So I'll just grab my ink and ink around the edge, just in case there's any white there. And you could back that onto a pretty piece of cardstock or another tag to layer it up if you like that look. Or you could just simply have it sitting on what you've already done. Depends on your taste and how much layering you like. Some people like a lot, some people only like a little bit, so I think I'll just put that on like it is. I'll go with the less is more idea for the time being. So I think I like that sort of on a bit of an angle, a bit cattywampus, as Nick the Booksmith would say. So that would be really enough to pop on a cover, and depending on how fancy your cover is, of course, and what you actually would like to tuck in. I mean, you might have a pretty tag that you want to tuck in the top of the bag, even something like our butterfly tag. If that's quite elaborate, something that is quite elaborate, you wouldn't really want anything too fussy on your bag. It depends on how fancy your piece you want to put in there actually is. So that's one little one, and I'll just do another little one while I'm on the go because I have a lot to make. And I thought for this one I might cut some of this pretty pink broderie anglaise that's lightly dyed, and that actually came to me from Julie at Bears and Old Lace, that lovely piece from her collection, and she's on Facebook if you would like to go over and see what she has. So maybe some pretty lace with one of our gypsy ladies with the geese. She's cute. Now I've grabbed a little rose, which is just these cream roses here. I've just snipped one off the edge of those. So I've now got my rose coloured ink, and I'm just adding a little bit to really just give that a lift, because the cream itself probably doesn't bring it out enough, so I'll add that to it. So I'll just glue the lace down, and add the lady. Oops, so put the lady on there somewhere. I think she looks nice just sitting on the lace. That's a little bit of lace flower. It looks like it needs something else, but what I might do is put the words at the top. So I'll just find something that works. Put our little rosebud there that we've coloured up. Just tinted it up just a little bit. And that's quite a cute little bag. I think we'll put a little saying across the top there. And that will complete that. So there are two little cute bags from our Tattered Dream collection from Denise's shop, just to give you an idea of what you can do with them. Of course, the ideas are endless. You could come up with many different things to do with the little bags, or just use them as they are, because they are quite decorative, quite pretty little bags. So there you go, we've got that one. We've got smaller one there, and we've got the larger one here with the corner pocket. So that's just a few little ideas of what we could do with things that we got from Denise's shop. Thank you very much for that, sending that, Denise. They'll be just what I needed to get on with my latest journal. So you'll see those pop up soon. And Denise's shop is called A Tattered Dream, and that is on Etsy if you are looking for it. And thank you for watching. Bye!